You want to know the secret to breaking any bad habit? It's to fully commit yourself to a new identity, one where the old habit has no place and the new identity finds zero comfort in the past. I'm going to share with you how you can do just that in this episode. You are going to learn the 5 ways to create habits that transform your life. Now, one of the things I had to be honest with on my journey of becoming the best version of me and tapping into my version of Thrive was I had to ask myself, do I like this person? Do I like my habits? Do I like the way I show up in the morning? Do I like the way I talk to people? Do I like the way I talk to myself? Do I like who I am becoming? Is this the best version of me? Do I like this person? We live in a society where we keep going, where we don't stop to think, where it's easy for us to find comfort and accept not living up to our expectations. And because of that, we never hold ourselves accountable to the highest degree that forces us to level up. Instead, we downplay our low performance and we make it okay to be mediocre. But this is not your season to go through a hard time and build certain habits that were bad and for you to start liking that person. This is not your season to do what makes you happy. No, this is your season to do what makes you better. This is not your season to be okay with not being okay. This is not your season of saying you want certain things, but you do nothing about it. I had to learn that if I was going to change the way I think, that if I was going to be transformed, I could not tolerate parts of me that could not fulfill the next part of my mission. I think before we go anywhere, you got to ask yourself, do I like this version of me? There are parts of you that you might say I like, and then there are parts of you that you might say, nah, nah, bro, I got to evolve. See, like spilt red wine, we cannot afford to let negativity sit and settle in our lives. And let me be clear. I'm not saying any of this to make you feel bad about yourself and where you are right now, but I'm saying this to remind you that you have the power to step into a better version of yourself. Think about it like this. You will never hire a coach who only will accept you for where you are without challenging you to grow. A great coach is going to push you towards your future you desire. But here's the thing. You have to want it for yourself first. So, Tribe, are you ready to level up with me this year? Well, we know that change begins in the mind. So let's start transforming the way we think with some affirmations to help you step into this new identity, the one that you love, the one that you like, the one that you respect. So I want you to repeat after me. I am not perfect, but every day I level up. I am not stuck. I'm simply reloading for my next move. I am not chasing perfection. I'm living in my progress. I'm letting go of the old me and making space for the better version of me. I don't have limits. I got possibilities. I am no longer waiting for permission, but I'm giving it to myself. I once heard someone say, people don't decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. So you don't need a miracle when you have the right habits. The right habits will not only put you in proximity for victory, but it will give you the victory. So these 5 ways to build transformational habits that I'm going to share with you today, they're going to be easy for you to implement, can be applied to any positive desire that you have, is rooted in science, and is how I improve my life each year. The first way to build transformational habits is to start small. The simpler the action, the greater chance you'll follow through. Small steps, that's what builds momentum. Have you ever seen a train pick up speed? Well, you know that momentum is hard to stop. But most people, they want to go from 0 to 60 in a day when making a lifestyle change. But motivation is the spark. It's not enough to sustain you. You don't reach the finish line at the starting line. Habits are built by taking on challenges that stretch you just outside of your comfort zone. So start with kind of hard habits until those become second nature, and then level up because you don't conquer Mount Everest in a day. You conquer that giant inch by inch, minute by minute, day by day, mile by mile. Science shows that starting small is one of the most effective ways to build courage and consistency. Small successes, what it does is it triggers dopamine release. And that essentially says to your brain, oh, I like that. It reinforces the habit loop of cue, routine, reward. And this is what makes new habits easy to repeat. So let me say it this way. Be a 4-inch pot. I want to share with you this concept I call the 4-inch pot concept. It's about working within your wheelhouse and not asking too much of yourself. It's about recognizing that it's better for you to put yourself in uncomfortable environments that challenge your potential rather than unhealthy environments that limit your result. So last year, I was cultivating this lemon tree that initially sprouted, but then it stopped growing. And I realized that the pot I had chose to put it in, it was too large for that pot to develop at a steady rate. So I made the decision to downgrade the size from an 8-inch pot to a 4-inch pot. And then it took off. And I've upgraded that pot multiple times. This experience, it taught me a very valuable lesson. Don't strive for future greatness by stretching yourself thin today. Instead, start small, Charles. I learned sometimes I need to be a 4-inch pot. For instance, I started doing my abs in the morning, and my goal is to do 400 abs in a day by the end of this year. But I started with 100 at the end of last year, and now I'm at 220. And guess what else? I got a long way to go. But I'm going to grow the way I am designed to grow, not how others expect me to grow. See, it's crucial for you not to stress yourself out and to thinking you must immediately reach a high level of success when you're just getting started. Embracing that mentality of the 4-inch pot is essential because gradual and steady growth, it still leads to success. So starting small might mean make last year's effort feel easier instead of going for a bigger goal, or read 1 page a day before tackling an entire book, or doing 5 push-ups before aiming to do 50. That's the 4-inch pot philosophy. Learn to find that small start and build from that consistency. You got to remember, you got nothing to prove to anyone but yourself. So however long it takes, start small. The second way to build transformational habits is to make it a lifestyle. The brain, it hates being lied to. And when you lower your standards, it knows. It makes you feel insecure and lack confidence. That's why habits, it should not be optional or when you feel like it. You've got to make what you do a lifestyle. If it's something I do once, it's something I always do. And this might not mean the specific action, but it's the principle behind those actions. The biggest mindset shift that I had to make to step into my Thrive era was how I do one thing is how I do everything. When I was developing my personal values this year, I committed to honoring my time. In fact, my value is honor your time. And if people don't want to, don't make them. Leave them behind. And let me tell you this, when you start putting your standards out there in the world, life is going to test you to see if that's truly what you want. So I ran into an issue with my barber. Some days he would be late. Other days I would show up and he wasn't even there. And I found myself texting him, asking him, hey, you coming? Which is something I shouldn't be doing, especially if I got a scheduled appointment. So last month, I finally said something about it. I'm like, bro, hey, can you at least let me know if you're running behind so I can adjust my schedule? And this was his response. I don't think I can do that. Right then and there, my value kicked in. Honor your time, Charles, because time is the most valuable currency. Now, mind you, I needed that haircut. I'm not even gonna lie. I needed that haircut. I had a keynote the next day and a flight I needed to catch in the next few hours. And so I sat in that chair a little longer than I should have, but I was debating as he was getting ready to fade me up, debating on if I should stay or if I should say something, because I knew that didn't sit right with me. I knew that if I couldn't trust you with my time, why would I trust you with my appearance? I would rather walk away than continue investing into a relationship that doesn't align with my standards. So I left. I found another barber. He's good. I pay him twice as much. But you know what else? I would rather pay more for someone who values my time the way I do than to settle for someone who doesn't. This isn't the point of this point, but maybe somebody needs to hear this part right here. You've got to honor your time, protect your standards. And if someone doesn't respect that, walk away. See, I value my time with not just a simple thing like a haircut, but I value my time in life because it's about being the kind of person who moves with intention. So my lifestyle is my yes. My no is my no. I pay for convenience. I find someone who can do it better and faster. I invest into gaining more time for fun. And because of that, I attract great relationships. Because of that, I attract fun. Because of that, I attract financial freedom. Because of that, I gain clarity and flow. Too many people develop habits just to hit a goal. They wake up early because they want to lose the weight. They work hard because they want to make more money. And there's nothing wrong with these things. But most people are only consistent when it's convenient or when they're chasing a result. And once they get it, they revert back to the old patterns. But when you become what you practice because that is who you are, you naturally attract success. I'm going to say that one more time. When you become what you practice because that is who you are, you naturally attract success. So I want you to start embracing a lifestyle mindset. This is who I am Sunday through Saturday. I live this way in my adversity. I live this way in my success. On vacation, this is what I do. When it's raining outside, this is what I do. When I don't feel like it, this is what I do. Because discipline isn't about mood. It's about identity. Stop developing habits just to achieve a goal. Develop habits because they reflect who you are and the character you're building. This is what it means to live by your values, not by your ambitions. If habits shape your identity, not just your results, then make them an intentional practice. And an intentional practice is what you do daily. Last thing I'll say here is research shows that the time required to form a new habit, it averages 66 days, just about 66 days. But I would like to argue, don't focus on that. Time should not matter because the goal of a habit is to make it a lifestyle. And when something is a lifestyle, it becomes more than a habit. It's what you love. It's what you value. It's a part of your character. And if something is a lifestyle, results happen by design. The third way to create transformational habits is to develop PCM habits. If you want your habits to stick, don't just do things because other people are doing it. I think our parents once told us that back in the day when we were kids. My mom used to always say, if somebody jump off a bridge, Charles, are you going to jump off a bridge? And to be honest, I feel like most people are following the wrong leadership. We're being led by people who don't have the same standards, the same principles, the same faith as us. And we wonder why, when we try to implement those routines in our lives, they don't work the same way. And the reason is simple. The way in which you do your habits are not transferable. What works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Some of you simply can't wake up at 5:45, do mobility stretching, get a workout in, hop in the cold tub, read for 20 minutes because you got 3 kids and you got to take them to school and you got a 45-minute commute to work. And somehow you got to get it all done by 8 a.m. Some of you simply got to get up earlier. Or some of you don't even like my habits at all, so why would you even try it? Or some of you are not even a morning routine person, so you prefer to do your things at night. I don't know. But science shows that the reason certain habits work for some and not for others is explained by self-concept theory, where your brain, it literally rejects habits that don't align with your self-image. This theory explains that the way people see themselves directly influences their actions, their beliefs, and their decisions. It's why certain habits stick while other habits fall. Have you ever tried to pick up someone else's habit and it just didn't work? Well, this theory is one of the reasons why. It is hard for us to be inauthentic. So before you pick up another self-help book, this is all the self-help you're going to need right here, right now. You have to choose habits that resonate with your ideal self, or what I call PCM habits. Habits that make you feel proud, connected, and are meaningful. Let's break that down. Habits that make you feel proud are often the ones you do even when you don't feel like it. But when you push through, you feel this sense of accomplishment. And a morning routine that's built on positive actions is going to provide that for you. That's why I recommend choosing habits that stretch you just outside of your comfort zone to boost your mood and confidence for the day. And that might mean winning the first hour by avoiding your phone or distractions, or getting your body moving, or opening the blinds, or fueling your body with hydration or a healthy breakfast. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Only you truly know what will make you feel good about yourself. The key here is to show up for yourself and start your day with purpose so that you can carry on that momentum into everything else that you do. Connected habits are those that give you vitality and are deeply genuine to you. They make sense to you. These are the habits that most people will overlook, but you don't, because they align to your personal values. So whether it's spending time with your loved one, calling your parents during your commute, or taking your shoes off when you walk in the house because home is your personal sanctuary. Or maybe it's practicing morning journaling because it helps you process your thoughts and set intention for the day. Connected habits allow you to be mindful, slow down, and take up space in a way that brings peace to your soul. And finally, you have meaningful habits, the ones that give you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Meaningful habits aren't just routines. They're transformational and they hold incredible power. These habits aren't about going through the motion, but they're about true growth and impact. Making small shifts, from choosing flexibility over rigid performance, is one of the ways you make a habit meaningful. Or maybe it's adopting a routine based off of your circumstances and your goals rather than blindly following your habits because it's something you've always done. For example, not hitting the snooze button, that's a meaningful habit because you're able to get a good start to your day and not delay. For me, I want to read the word, not just because I'm a Christian, but I want to read the Bible because I want to grow in my faith to become the man God intended me to be. And a meaningful habit for me is not skimming through scripture, but actively working on my struggles, strengthening my faith through my daily bread, and truly being present when I read. That's why I don't read the Bible in the morning in the bed. Instead, I get up, I go to the living room, I have intentional time with God. You see the small shift there? I could have just chosen to read the Bible half asleep just to check it off the list. But instead, I chose to be fully engaged, fully present, and fully committed. The difference between a habit and a meaningful one is the intention behind it. So here's a quick recap. PCM habits are habits that are worth your time, so you make the time. Proud habits, they push you outside of your comfort zone and build confidence. Connected habits feel natural and deeply personal. And meaningful habits, they bring purpose and assuring your routines are authentic and impactful. Number 4, practice your habit at the same time each day. It's not about finding a window to prioritize what's important. It's about creating a window and seeing your way through it. Building intentional time for your habits means it's important to you. But habits done only when you feel like it, they're not habits at all. They're fleeting actions, not commitments to the lifestyle change they provide. The definition of a routine is a set of actions you consistently do in the same way and or at the same time. So make important habits non-negotiable. When you make them optional, you give yourself toxic grace, a false sense of compassion that keeps you stuck in a cycle of poor outcomes. To build a habit, stop giving yourself grace for incomplete work, for putting it off until later, for prioritizing the email over the intentional progress, for hitting the snooze button one more time. Instead, practice your habit at the same time each day. I give myself a small window to complete my most important habits. And when that window closes, guess what? The opportunity is gone for the day. I don't love to get in the cold tub. And guess what? At this stage of my life, it's something I do not look forward to. But you know what? I do it every day before I go to work when I'm home. And 10 out of 10 times, I feel better about it. My body feels amazing. So how do you do something like this? You build a dedicated window. And I would say give yourself a window of anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes and commit to seeing your way through it. It's that simple. Set an alarm and use the ready, set, go technique. If you haven't been to my Thrive experiences, maybe you haven't heard me talk about the ready, set, go technique. And I'm going to share with you the ready, set, go technique on the next episode. And the fifth way to build transformational habits is to track your progress. You can't improve what you don't measure. And that's why I created the Thrive Planner. It's a 90-day accountability system to track your growth and keep you locked in on your goals. This isn't another planner. It's a personal success blueprint. Inside, you'll find everything that you need to build transformational habits: morning and night routine, a weekly calendar, daily task tracking, a game plan strategy page to ensure you're not only winning the day, but you're crushing your biggest goals week after week. If you're ready to take control of your growth, grab my 90-day Thrive Planner now. I placed the link in the bio. The thriving thought of the week I want to leave you with today is this. You know what's challenging? When it's not the right time. But can I be honest with you? There are no perfect moments. No cheerleaders in the stands. No magical sign pointing you in the right direction. No instant results to validate your effort. But there is day one. And that is one of the most beautiful moments of life because it's a start. It's the beginning. It's a new day. It's a whisper of hope. It's the moment you decide to bet on you and a reminder that anything is possible. And the good news is day one is all you need to get started. But I've learned that the secret to finding that moment in time is to put down yesterday and to fully believe tomorrow doesn't exist. Let me remind you, there is nothing too hard to take advantage of right now. And when you do, you've got momentum that can be applied and built upon, so much so that when you look back just a couple of months from now, or maybe a year from now, you barely recognize that person who took the leap in the first place. You'll be proud of that person. It's not always going to be hard. The doubt that once held you back will feel distant. The hesitation will feel small. And the challenge will prove itself worth it. Because momentum doesn't just carry you forward, it transforms you. So don't wait for the perfect time. Make the time. Don't wait for permission. Give it to yourself. Don't wait for the right moment. Create it. Your day one can start right now. So I want to remind you of the 5 things today. The way that you build transformational habits. Number 1, start small. 2, make it a lifestyle. 3, develop habits that make you feel proud, connected, and are meaningful. 4, do your habits at the same time every day. And 5, track your progress. I'm Charles Clark. Make your day as great as you want it to be. But before you do that, make sure you consider just how precious your life is. You don't have tomorrow. All you got is right now. So don't let the door hit you on the way out. Get up, get moving, rise and thrive. Peace out.